Hey, how's it going? Remember me? I used to do movie reviews on this channel. Yeah, I kind of disappeared there for like 4 or 5 months, didn't I? And I have my reasons. If you followed me on my Twitter, you knew what they were, but unfortunately I no longer have a Twitter account. And it's not Twitter's fault, I just decided outright to delete it. And I could do a very lengthy, like, state of the hat kind of video somewhere down the line where I explain why I did all the stuff I did, why I disappeared and all that. But let's stay on topic for now. I'll get to that later. For now, let's talk about today's movie, which happens to be a Paramount Plus exclusive called Jerry and Marge Go Large. I'm gonna be honest here, my experience with Paramount Plus has been kind of wishy-washy. Like, I remember being excited about it and then downloading it and convincing my wife to piggyback on my account, and you know, it's like, there's gonna be so much good shit on here. And then we watched The Harper House and we watched both post-COVID specials, and then neither one of us could find anything even remotely interesting to watch except for like maybe Beavis and Butthead reruns on my end of the thing. And there was Celebrity Deathmatch, but it was the crappy 2006 Celebrity Deathmatch as opposed to the adequate Celebrity Deathmatch from the 90s that hasn't aged nearly as well as I thought it would, but, you know, other than that, I have no objection. In other words, I got the account in January, I ended up canceling it in February, and honestly, the fact that there are more South Park specials on the way in the not-too-distant future, coupled with a Beavis and Butthead movie I plan on watching and reviewing later, I ended up reactivating the account. And that's how I found out about this movie here, Jerry and Marge Go Large. It sounds like a porno title to me, but after watching it, I can assure you it's anything but. Meet Jerry and Marge, an elderly couple living out their golden years. Jerry has just retired because his plant closed down and left him with very little alternative. Jerry is a man with a gift for math and numbers, and unfortunately, now that he's retired, he doesn't really have a good outlet for that gift of his now. Until he discovers the lottery. Somewhere in the process of discovering the lottery, Jerry discovers a fundamental flaw in the lottery system, and as a result, he exploits the flaw and collects obscene amounts of cash. And you think this is the point where he becomes a criminal kingpin, but actually no. Jerry uses his power for good. He uses the money he earns to reinstate the jazz festival. He helps rebuild the town's economy. He's just generally a good guy. It's when college kids from Harvard exploit the flaw and start using it for one kid's personal gain. Which is kind of weird. I always thought Yale was the personification of evil, but whatever. Ivy League is Ivy League, I suppose. Eventually, the two sides collide, and the lottery becomes aware of the fact that they're being scammed, and shenanigans ensue. Maybe I could have figured this out if I'd actually, you know, researched before I got in front of the camera like this, but that's kind of the beauty of the I Just Saw franchises. These are my raw, unresearched thoughts coming to you live just moments after I watched the movie here. But the question I had on my mind was, is Jerry supposed to be, like, autistic, like, high-functioning autistic, or are they going for more of like the idiot savant kind of thing where he's like really good at math but a fucking idiot at everything else? What's the deal with Jerry? That is a very fascinating topic, and I don't really have the answer for you right here. But I kind of felt like they were definitely going for something, and autistic kind of seems like the stereotypical approach, you know? Like, I've seen several portrayals of people who have like varying degrees of autism and they're all like geniuses at math like this, but it's very possible that maybe I'm overthinking it and maybe he's just an idiot savant, or maybe he's just awkward, you know? Anything is possible at this point. I'm just wondering out loud. On one hand, I don't want to say the movie is boring because I feel like Licorice Pizza, despite what some people have commented on my review of it, I feel like Licorice Pizza has kind of set the precedent for what constitutes a boring movie. A movie that goes nowhere, does nothing, and is so ungodly boring that I just get up and leave like 2/3 of the way in. I did not get up and leave at any point during this movie. I did not log off of Paramount Plus and just call it a day. I sat through this movie from start to finish. I might have hit pause at one point so I could use the bathroom, but that's all I did, I swear. Also, while I'm on this tangent, I feel like this movie actually had an objective, unlike Licorice Pizza. I felt like this movie had an objective. I felt like it had a plot. There was a method to the madness. There was a reason all the stuff on screen is happening. So that's another thing it had going for it. On the other hand, I'm kind of hard-pressed to think of other ways to describe the movie. Like, it's not dreadfully boring, but, like, it does kind of reach a point where I feel like this movie is dragging its feet, and I just, like, come on, get to the ending already! I hesitate to say low stakes, but, you know, it's like, this isn't exactly one of those movies where people go door to door shooting at each other and fist fighting aplenty, but, like, at the same time, I kind of feel like this movie maybe could have stood to be a bit shorter. Like, not insanely shorter, but like maybe like, if the runtime was like 90 minutes, maybe it could have stood to be 87, if you know what I mean. All in all, though, it's not the worst movie I've ever seen. It's not the best movie I've ever seen either, but it's not the worst. It's a thing that exists, and I didn't hate it. Unfortunately, I didn't really like it towards the end either, but I don't know. Bottom line, this is kind of one of those movies where I'm not sure if I would recommend it or not. Like, if the idea of lottery fraud sounds intriguing to you, I guess give it a watch. I mean, it could be interesting, or it could be the most boring thing you've ever sat through, who knows, but this is one of those things where I'm hesitant to really say I recommend it or not. I'm just going to tell you honestly what I thought about it, and in the end, I give Jerry and Marge Go Large 2 hats out of 4.